So there's this classic public speaking technique that suggests to calm your nerves, picture the audience naked. But don't worry, I'm not going to picture you naked today. That would be besides the point, because today I'm here to talk to you about your clothes. We all wear clothes, right? Every morning we get up, head to our wardrobes, try something on, take it off again, try something else on, until we're ready to head out the door. But the truth is, no matter how freaking brilliant you look, and you all look great today in your outfits, by the way, you are part of the fashion industry. And the fashion industry has a really big impact on our planet. Perhaps you've thought about how your disposable coffee cup or your plastic straw you've got to say no to in your smoothie this morning impacts the planet. But today I want to challenge you to think about how your clothes impact the planet. The current way we consume clothes is completely unsustainable for life on Earth. We have to change the way we shop and we dress. Now, you're probably going, who the heck is that chick and why is she telling me how I should dress? Well, I'm Kate and I'm a sustainable fashion and eco-living inspirer, encourager, speaker, writer and general activist. Like you guys, I obviously wear clothes too. But in 2015, I watched a documentary called The True Cost. It's free on Netflix, by the way. That documentary really opened my eyes to the impact the fashion industry has on people and the planet. I'm going to focus on the planet side of things today because the people thing is a TED Talk for another day. Thinking back to that documentary, I think of images like the people streaming through the malls, fighting and pushing and shoving each other as they made their way through to the Black Friday sales. It actually makes me sick just thinking about those images. I also think to a picture of a clothing landfill piled high with things that took precious resources from this earth to create that are just sitting in landfill because they've gone off trend or something. The True Cost made me really aware of how I consume clothes and how I'm a big part of this problem. I honestly just wanted to strip naked and boycott clothes, but that would have made this talk pretty awkward. So that's when I started asking, how can I still consider myself a kind and a caring person while contributing to this industry? I couldn't do it. So for the last 4 years, I've learned how to be a conscious consumer. To me, that means thinking really mindfully about what I buy when I do buy, and thinking thoughtfully about where it goes when I'm no longer done with it. I've dedicated my life to teaching others the personal and financial benefits about this type of consuming, and that's why I'm here today. So, if you don't already believe me when I say that the current way we consume clothes is completely and utterly unsustainable for life on Earth, then please stomach this. Our world currently consumes 8 billion pieces of clothing a year. Just think about that for a second. 8 billion. So that's 400% more than we were consuming 20 years ago. And totally our population has grown, but not by 400% in the last 20 years. So how the heck did we get to this 8 billion pieces of clothing a year statistic? Well, it's totally normal to go shopping on the weekend for your event to get something new to wear that Saturday night, right? And that t-shirt over there, that's $5. That's the price of a coffee. I'm going to get 5 of them in all different colors just in case. But do you know what? We're all going to stand at our wardrobes and scream, I have nothing to wear, because the media and society, we all get that, the media and society have told us that what we have is totally not enough. It's all gone off trend and we should just want more, and more. Meanwhile, here's a trade secret. The clothes made today are often only made to last us 7 wears before wearing out. That's the fast fashion model. Promise I'm not kidding. So when you pair that with the fact it often costs more for a repair for a garment rather than a brand new garment, that 8 billion pieces of clothing a year statistic kind of makes sense. It's horrific, but it's just part of our overconsumption. So you're probably wondering why I brought this very heavy suitcase with me across Auckland into the stage. I'm going to open it and show you why. In this suitcase is 23 kilograms of textile waste. That's the average amount of textile waste in clothing an Australian throws out every year. Now, it's more in other countries like the USA, and that study was done quite a while ago, so it's probably even greater than that. 23 kilograms of textile waste every year. And to make it even worse, there actually is no way. It's only going to other parts of the planet. When you throw things away, our planet has a finite amount of resources. So that means it's only going to another space. It's not disappearing into some magical outer space black hole. I'll say it again. There is no way. So some of you are probably thinking, well, Kate, it's okay, don't worry about it, mate, don't worry. I don't donate my clothes to a secondhand store. They get a new life, I'm not part of the problem. It's fine, it's fine. Well, sure, that's great. I applaud you on that. That's awesome that you donate things to a secondhand store. But unfortunately, because of our overconsumption, it means secondhand stores aren't keeping up. Only 1 in 10 garments are actually resold onto another person. So the rest just go to landfill. And like I said, there is no way. You may remember the Marie Kondo Netflix series that went off at the start of this year. So many people decluttered their wardrobes in their homes that secondhand shops had to actually close the doors on their inward good donations because there was just too much stuff. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So now we know the current way we consume clothes is unsustainable for life on Earth. Because I'm a sustainable fashion nerd, I often have this picture of me walking along a footpath in a few decades' time, wading through clothes and stuff, just because we've kept on consuming at this insane rate. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want that to happen. And I've been where you guys are now. It is really tough hearing for the first time that you are part of the problem, because you're all clothed, I think. It's tough hearing that, I get it, but we're all in this together, and there are actually ways we can still consume clothes while being part of the solution instead of the problem. So here's my personal go-to list, which I've refined over the last 4 years of existing as a conscious consumer, and I'm still learning. Slow down, think before you buy, repair, upcycle, shop secondhand, rent, borrow, clothes swap. This is the list that I have worked on to remove myself from the problem and add myself to the solution. And I'm going to share each one of them so you can consider how you could partake in that too. So the first thing, slow down. Stop. Stop consuming. I have taken mindless shopping off my to-do list. It's gone. It's not a habit. It's not a thing that I do. So instead, I go to my wardrobe, I spend some time there, and I make a list of the things that would add to the clothes I currently own. Things that would add to my wardrobe and be an asset, an investment. With that list, when I'm out shopping with my friends or I'm shopping online, I have those things in my mind or on my phone, and I look out for only those items. So I realized that even if I don't buy anything for months or even years at a time, I will still be clothed. Now, I'm not asking all of you to just suddenly stop shopping. That would be realistic, and shopping can be fun. All I'm asking is that you think about slowing down. Wherever you're at, maybe you buy something once a week. Why not try buying something every 2 weeks? Maybe you currently buy something once a month. Could you think about buying something once every 2 months? Start from where you are at personally and go from there. Take baby steps. So the second thing I've done is I think before I buy. So with that list I mentioned that I make, I think about something for usually around 1 month before I actually buy it. I often consider if I will wear it at least 30 times. That's a tip I learnt from a sustainable fashion expert, Livia Firth. And sometimes I even ask my friends and my family about if they think that would be an asset for my wardrobe too. I generally think about everything like an investment before I'm going to buy it. Because as our old mate Marie Kondo says, if it doesn't spark you joy, it shouldn't be in your life. Another thing I do with the things that I already own, which is a lot of things in my suitcase, is I try to resuscitate them and always keep them alive. And I have so much fun doing that. With little simple repairs like a button or just a small rip, I'll do that myself. When things are a little bit more past my skill set, I'll ask a local seamstress who'll fix them for me. So my last project I made, which was a lot of fun, I turned all of my old underwear and socks, and even underwear and socks and old rags and things from my friends and my flatmates into my dog's bed. I got a secondhand sheet from a secondhand shop, and I turned it into a square, and I stuffed it full of all the old clothes, and it's great. Dog beds are usually up to $500, so that was a win for me. I also, when I shop secondhand, I still donate things to a secondhand shop, don't get me wrong, but when I donate to the secondhand shop, I think carefully before I do it. I repair everything and I wash everything before I donate it. And not only that, I don't just leave it on the steps of the secondhand shop and then at night in the dark hoping they'll then, rehome it somewhere. I actually ask them, is this item of need to your store? Sometimes they may have an overflow of stock. So I ask them, will this be able to be sold in your store? If not, I'll keep it with me and I'll find a proper home where it will actually go. I also shop at secondhand stores. My personal wardrobe is always open to my friends and my family to borrow anything that they may need. I've rented the occasional thing too. So there's probably a few of you in the audience who are the fashionistas, I've seen you out there, who are saying, whoa, Kate, you can't tell me to stop shopping. That sounds horrible. Well, I love fashion too, so I understand what you're thinking when I tell you to slow down and stop. But to you guys, I say borrow, rent, and clothes swap. That social exchange of swapping clothes with other people brings smiles and actual sustained happiness. And also those designer labels that you really, let's be honest, you couldn't afford them if you were to buy them up front. You get to wear those designer labels when you rent them for a fraction of the price. So that's pretty awesome. So these are the things that I've done to become a conscious consumer and reduce my impact on the world when it comes to my fashion. Are there things that you guys could do too? I reckon most of you could try slowing down, thinking before you buy, repairing, upcycling, clothes swapping, shopping secondhand. But all of these things I started because I cared about the planet. But actually, they've had a huge benefit for me personally too. You'll be really happy to hear. You will save money. Yeah, look at all those smiles. Honestly, I can't tell you how much I've been able to squirrel away from my savings or events and fun times with my friends and family because I've not been a wasteful and a mindless consumer. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, Kate, don't worry, I don't spend that much money on clothes. But when they actually add it up, all the little small purchases that they buy may add up to $200 to $400 a month. So guaranteed, if you are a conscious consumer, you will save money. I'm also happier. I am so much more happy from adopting this lifestyle and this fashion shopping decision. You know that situation that I mentioned before that you guys all nodded to and agreed and you'd been there when you walk to your wardrobe and go, I have nothing to wear, but it's full of things? I personally never have that. I remember having it, but I don't have it anymore. They say that we only wear 20 to 50% of our wardrobes on average, the average person. Because I have invested time in thinking about what goes into my wardrobe and thought about everything like an investment, I never have that problem. I'm so much happier because when I go to my wardrobe, there's everything to wear. I feel so much less mentally and emotionally strained because I've been thoughtful in my purchases and I've treated them all as the investments that they are. So, if there is just one thing that you will change today about the way you shop, I really hope it's this: your mindset. Clothes are not consumables. They are not disposable skins that you can take off and put on at the start or the end of your day. They are investments, and investments deserve to be thought about before they're bought, cared for during their lifetime, and repaired when they are broken. Because after all, when your clothes are no longer of use to you and you throw them away, there is no away. Thank you.